Senator Ernst, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your service and your leadership. General Kurilla, just a few quick questions. Some of this has been covered briefly by a number of other senators, but we do have the great powers that are out there, putting a lot of pressure on us in Asia and in Europe. We also have competing priorities here at home. We've got a fentanyl crisis, we've got southern border issues, and then the very sobering fiscal outlook right now. So we're entering into an era where being able to support defense with everything we've got has really slowed down significantly. The belt is tightening, and you've heard concerns today. So I know that the NDS has directed the department to right-size your forward military presence and your AOR, and of course, doing that, accepting prudent risk as necessary. So how has CENTCOM improved the economy of force in your theater?
So thank you, Senator. CENTCOM is 85% smaller than at the peak in 2008. That was in the midst of two conflicts. After the withdrawal from Afghanistan, even in 2022, we reduced by 15% post-Afghanistan withdrawal. What we require in CENTCOM is a sustainable and sufficient force structure to be able to accomplish the missions we've been given. Again, I go back to, if there's one place that can derail the NDS, it could come out of CENTCOM with a flashpoint.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I know the president, during the Afghanistan withdrawal, told us that if we withdrew from Afghanistan, there would be a windfall of resources to prioritize China. So what resources did this action free up in our budget, and then how did DOD reinvest those?
I really, Senator, would defer to OMB and the Department of Defense on any cost savings, but I believe those resources were then moved to against the higher priority of INDOPACOM and EUCOM.
Okay, thank you. And I would be willing to bet there weren't as many cost savings maybe as we would have thought. But different topic, but you've heard a lot of discussion about the Abraham Accords today. I also am a co-chair with Senator Rosen on the Abraham Accords caucus, and I'm very proud that our legislation on air and missile defense cooperation did get passed last year in the NDAA, and it does help our partners with their security burden. So you've talked a little bit about this, but when you're implementing this or trying to implement this integration framework, what challenges are you running into now that we might be able to iron out without legislation? And is there an area where we might need legislation?
I can tell you where we are right now. We're making progress. We're going towards a shared air picture between a group of countries. And the challenge we have, though, is if there is Chinese equipment that we cannot integrate. And so whether that's a radar or whether that's an actual air defense system, we can't let that touch our network based on on what we know about the Chinese equipment. And so that it's not compatible with it either. So that's the one challenge that we have to be able to do that. And so I'm not sure what the legislation that could help us potentially is how do we get FMS faster so that they don't have to choose to buy a Chinese system.
Excellent. And this has been a discussion as well about FMS and whether it should be the jurisdiction of Armed Services or another committee here in the United States Senate. And that's something for us to iron out. So you don't necessarily need additional authorities for implementation then that you're aware of?
I believe I have all the authorities I need right now, ma'am.
Okay. I would just encourage our partners in that region to buy American. Maybe that's the message that we need to send.
I'd be happy if they just bought Western.
Western, well,
integrate
compatible.
with all of our systems.
No, excellent point, General. I do want to thank you for your tireless efforts to build partnerships in the region. I was recently on a CODEL where we visited Israel, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, and I heard over and over again your name mentioned specifically. And we described that, or we have described that in the past as leadership by walking around. And you did state earlier that you spend 50% of your time in the AOR, and I know that that is greatly appreciated by our partners. So thank you for doing that. Truly appreciate your leadership. Presence is power. And General Langley, I know that you're out there and engaged as well. I do have a question I'll submit for the record for you. It deals with the 127 ECHO program, which I think is incredibly important in your region to maintaining stability. So thank you, gentlemen, very much. My time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator.